Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today we've got a battle of the high octane town center discounts as Liereyy, playing as the Incas in red, prepares to take on Hera, playing as the Britons in blue. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP, not a bad time for us to take a look at adorable Piggly Wiggly Butt, but also maybe also take a look at the Civ matchup we're going to be watching today. Now, the Incas are a pretty much counter civilization. Will your opponent go cavalry? Well, the Incas can rely on their first unique unit, the Kamayuk, a ranged infantry unit that carries a very, very long spear. It comes with a massive attack bonus against all manner of mounted units. Will your opponent go infantry? Well, the Incas can rely on their other unique unit, the Slinger. This is an archer unit that comes with a pretty big attack bonus against infantry and which can be upgraded to get another +1 small attack boost. Now, will your opponent go perhaps, I don't know, maybe archers? Well, the Incas can rely on their skirmishers, which come with not only all archer range, blacksmith, and university upgrades, but can also be upgraded even more to have absolutely no minimum range whatsoever, which does remove one of the big weaknesses of skirmishers. And make their army last a little bit longer on the battlefield. No, the Incas do not distribute Viagra to their units, but instead they can upgrade their Kamayuks, their Slingers, and their Eagle Warriors to get both extra melee and pierce armor. Now, to help build and support their military-industrial complex, all Incan military units cost less and less food as the game goes on, all the way up to 25% less food in Imperial. If you notice in the beginning of the game, they do start with a free llama underneath the town center, which may not sound like much, but it does give you an extra unit to explore the map with, in addition to giving you a little bit of extra food. Their buildings, including their TCs, do cost 15% less stone. Their houses support 10 population instead of 5, which means take a look at the top left of your screen, where Liereyy has 12 out of 25 instead of 12 out of the usual 15 when you start building 2 houses. Which does free up a little bit more wood in the early stages of the game for more structures, more army, whatever it is your heart desires. And their villagers are harder to raid because starting in Castle Age, they do benefit from infantry blacksmith upgrades. And by the way, the Incas get all infantry blacksmith upgrades. Now, who, you might be asking, might want to injure or hurt or even kill an innocent Incan villager? Look no further to the right side of the map, where we've got Hera playing as the Britons in blue. Civilization designed to support its ranged units. Their archery rangers work 10% faster. Their foot archers, except for skirmishers, get extra free range starting in Castle, and then even more in Imperial. And if that's not enough range for you, all of their foot archers can be upgraded to get even more +1 range. Now, all of this vitamin R is fantastic news for their unique unit, the Longbowman. This is a decent foot archer that comes with a massive 12 tiles of range when fully upgraded. So basically a bombard cannons level range on a foot archer. But we're not done just yet. Briton Trebs are also some of the most powerful in the game because they can be upgraded to do blast damage and have 100% accuracy against stationary units. So pray that you are never a villager repairing a trebuchet fighting a Briton Warwolf Treb, because your lifespan is not very long. Now, in order to support their military production, Briton town centers do cost 50% less wood, and their shepherds work 25% faster. He zooms in as a bunch of shepherds become lumberjacks, changing their profession. Hera's having a bit of difficulty with these ibexes? I'm just going to say ibexes. It looks like both players are heading up to Feudal Liereyy with one less villager. Hera with a massive 4 seconds of TC idle time. So he does not have Loom, which tells me that maybe Liereyy does have Loom. Yeah, Liereyy has Root Loom already, and Liereyy is beginning to wall off the base, which is a pretty good indication for us to not only take a look at the attack path between the bases, but also maybe look at those bases themselves, as Hera now moves out, knows, or actually doesn't know, but is going to hit these 2 Piggly Wigglies straight on. Lately, Hera has not been caring as much about his last 2 herdables, or has been perhaps relying on some late Dark Age scouting. I don't know how else to put it. I feel like he hasn't pulled all of the extra oinkies and turkeys and gobbles and all the various animals that he can as early as he used to. I wonder if that's something new. I wonder if somebody who watches his videos or live streams can enlighten us about that. But in any event, the attack path, pretty forested, actually. 1, 2, 3 forests on the attack path. Our Inca hits Feudal, immediately double bid axe. Our Briton immediately loom for those very weak and naked villagers. And let's take a look at that Incan base. Primary stone very exposed to the front. Gold off to the side. Hera is going to discover exactly where that primary gold is right as 3 villagers move out. But Liereyy with the quick reaction time does manage to poke and prod at that scout until he loses a massive 9 HP. That's not a small loss. With 36 HP, that basically means you need exactly 2 spearman pokes, ignoring high ground, low ground, whatever, to die. So that was actually a fantastic get. Now instead of the usual 3 spearman pokes that our Briton scout needs to die, now it's only 2. So great get there for our Inca, who has both his secondary and tertiary golds to the back, as he also has a bit more lumber to the back. And where is his secondary stone? Here up to the top right off campus. So he's already begun mining his primary gold, which is pretty far away in the middle of nowhere. I'm surprised he hasn't gone for his more secure gold over here, but never know. Take the riskier gold first. Not a bad idea at all. If you can secure it. Straggler bamboo, never a good idea, although I suspect Hera's probably not going to bring a villager to chop this bamboo down anytime soon. And our Inca says, you know what? I'm kind of safe to the north. I'm kind of safe to the south. So why don't I just aggregate all of my specialized counter cavalry units, meaning spearmen, right here next to the gold, and there's not a whole lot that Hera's going to be able to do about that. Speaking of, Hera also has his gold just north of his TC, also exposed, also has his primary stone out in front of his base. So a nice little mirror imaging of where the resources are located, where are his additional gold patches. Ooh, unlike our Inca, his gold is to the front, does have 1 patch to the back, but beware villagers, there is Tony the Tiger guarding it jealously, as there is another patch of stone. Hera's forests, we saw 1 in the forward position, 2 flanking, so he's carving himself a small little nook. Not exactly the biggest of bases, but speaking of not exactly the biggest of bases, our Inca juts out like a bit of a spearhead onto this hill. I love that Liereyy took control of this hill and denying his opponent some of the high ground that he may have been desiring to take, as one of the tigers in the neutral position does die. Liereyy's forests, by the way, completely unhelpful in terms of a wall off this entire northern side of the base. So where the developer random map generator giveth, with the gold second and third being nice and safe to the back, it taketh away with the north being completely open, whereas Hera has a, I wouldn't say an easier, but maybe like a 5% easier wall off situation right now. Hera attacking a barracks, literally butting his head against the stone wall over there. Both players 29 villagers a pop. Our Incan, with that cheaper food cost, has pumped out 5 Eagle Warriors. Now that food cost does add up in the later stages of the game. Right now, 10% off of a 25 food cost unit doesn't really sound like much, but remember, the less food you need to gather. Is Hera trying to... I thought he was going to try to trap these units with a villager, but no, he just wants to build a house there. And first blood drawn by our Briton, who uses his mounted units to gun down one of these eagles. We are in feudal. These are just scouts, so at the moment, no attack bonuses against cavalry whatsoever. But as I was about to say, even just having a 10%... Oh, my apologies. It's not 10%. It's 15%. I don't know why I thought 10%. It's 15% now that we're in Feudal Age. My apologies. My brain was stuck in the Dark Age, as it is in many things. But just even a small little discount, 3, 4, 5 food here and there, it does add up over time. Everything in this game doesn't really ever sound very impressive, right? What's an extra +1 attack? What's an extra +1 armor? But when you start massing armies of 13, 15, 20 units, a +1 attack is 20 extra HP, +1 armor is 20 less HP of damage. Things kind of really add up. And in terms of discounts, it really does mean you can optimize your economy a lot better than your opponent. And you need a lot fewer villagers on a certain resource, which means you can use your villagers on a different resource. But this wall off, ooh, okay. Here we go. We've got an Age of Empires race around the world as this one poor villager gets tasked with repairing, or maybe not repairing, but saving her settlement. And okay, that wasn't that was not as close as I thought it was going to be at all. I thought that was going to be a lot closer. I thought Hera was maybe even going to be able to bust into there, but no, his scouts do not. And that one villager manages to save the day. Eagles attempting to do the exact same thing, but Hera, let's see how nicely dispersed his villagers are. So these ones can have access to this area. Oh yeah, Hera with the smaller base here. Number one, a lot more constrained. But his villagers are nicely placed. 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock position. And he's in castle and going cavalry archers. This is the second time my voice is going prepubescent seeing cavalry archers. You may have missed yesterday's game, so I'm not going to say anything that may or may not spoil the game. But Briton cav archers? They do not benefit from any of the range features I just mentioned in terms of the free range or even yeoman or anything. Furthermore, I feel like I'm in a high school essay here. Furthermore, point number 2. Not only do they not come with any extra range, they also come with an absolute deficit of upgrades. But wait a second. What they do come with is a lot of mobility, and Hera snipes a villager, runs away. Fantastic get. I don't think our Inca was prepared. Another villager down. Luckily, Liereyy was ahead 3 villagers, which means now he's only ahead 1. But this, like the Viper yesterday, this is very much a signal that you are pretty much all in Castle Age. Because take a look at the Briton longbow, the Briton cav archer. No bloodlines, no Parthian tactics, no thumb ring. So this is very much a... I mean, I say it's a Castle Age unit because it is a Castle Age unit, but I don't think you're going to Imperial Age with this. I think Hera plans on overwhelming Liereyy here in the Castle Age, which means Liereyy has an opportunity to go Eagle Warriors. Now we saw Sicilian cav archers the other day. Sicilians obviously taking a lot less bonus damage, all of their units, than the majority of other cav archers, but I don't know that the Briton cav archer, he's going to take full damage, and especially, like I said, the Incan skirmisher is not exactly a bad unit. That being said, you don't have an archery range, so you're not training any Incan skirmisher, so forget all of that. I love the tower gone up on the high ground here, protecting the gold. Scorpions are out. Ooh, 2 decent shots. Bolts 3 and 4 absolutely miss here. But those first 2 bolts did a decent amount of damage here. We're getting husbandry, which is one of the cavalry upgrades available to Hera. But I mean, what is going on with cav archer play? Why is everyone and their mother going cav archer? I don't understand it. Middle of the road siege workshop. Also, I don't understand. Why not place it here? Are you saving this area for a castle? Why not place it right here in front of your opponent's base? There's a lot I don't understand about the late meta, the current meta, I should say. And finally, 23 minutes into the game, our Inca manages to kill a unit. Well, huzzah. There we go. We'll keep an eye on those scouts. Might as well look at them now because not else much happening on the map. 2 town centers for our Inca. And yeah, this is very much a 1 TC all-in Castle Age play out of Hera the Blue Briton, who has 24 cav archers on the field. I don't understand it. Okay, we're getting redemption monks for our Incas. Let's look at their monastery line. Not a bad monastery line. Okay, that's one way to deal with those scorpions, so that your cav archers can move in and wreck the army. And I think Liereyy realizes, hey, I don't really need all of my eagles to kill your units. And now that we're in the Castle Age, even a basic scout does come with a +2 attack bonus against cavalry, which cav archers do in fact have cavalry armor. Mangonel shot, clips, maybe a little bit of HP. And now we've got ourselves a Mangonel war. Hera's got to get some stuff done here because he's down 8 villagers. He's built a unit that, I don't want to say suboptimal, but It's definitely not the unit I was expecting. Wasn't exactly on my bingo card to see Briton cav archers. Also not on my bingo card to see just enemy units staring at each other. It looks like the spearman is on the high ground. See whatever happens to those 4 units, whether they fall in love and the spearmen and the cav archers run away together. Okay, that mango shot certainly clipped a bunch of units. Okay. The infrastructure to the front here has fallen. Unfortunately for Hera, as we saw, our Inca is not lacking for wood. So destroying infrastructure here while at the same time not laming lumberjack operations is not going to net him anything. Plus, our Inca doesn't really seem like he's going heavy on wood at all with only 10 villagers. Hera has 21. Of course he does. His entire army, except for that one monk, is all wood. Now, map control does give him the ability to gather relics with that one monk, as does this forward monastery built right next to the center of the map. Relic? Oh, no, they did not fall in love at all. Prediction number 9 incorrect in this game. No, they killed each other. Looks like that mango took a bit of damage. Hera, with 3 mangonels, gets another scorpion. Okay, so again, doing damage, but doing damage to military infrastructure is not a capital WW. You know, it's not a gold medal W here. It might be a bronze medal W. He needs to push in. He needs to get rid of one of these TCs. I'm a little surprised he's not attacking the southern TC with the hill that's over here. Could absolutely set up some siege on that hill. And now he's just going in and risking it. Hera lost a mango, so he takes immediate revenge on Liereyy's mangonel. And now the mango's okay. Now all of a sudden, our Briton is taking the foot off the gas with 2 town centers. Remember, not exactly 550 wood, only 275 because wood cost is halved for the Briton. I like that he's moving in. Lierey's going up to Imperial. Liereyy is going up to Imperial. What is the point of that? He's getting Eagle Warriors. He has 14 more villagers than his opponent. Does manage to convert one of the cav archers. The one to the very rear. That's interesting. But well, actually, you know what? I'm looking at Liereyy's resource count. He may actually have the resources for Elite Eagle Warrior in a second. Oh, man. I gotta assume that's the plan. He's going up even more Eagles, another barracks for him. If he gets his ass into Elite Eagle Warriors with the second armor upgrade, that is 6 Pierce Armor. 6 Pierce Armor against the unit that does 8 damage is 2 HP of damage, which is basically nothing. And let's see it. Let's see what Hera does once he realizes his attack has not really accomplished what he wanted, and his opponent is an Imperial, and Hera's broke. And he's getting the final armor upgrade for the Eagles. Okay, so forget Elite Eagle Warriors, my bad. These are just going to be regular Eagle Warriors with 7 Pierce Armor. I repeat, 7 Pierce Armor against the unit that attacks on an 8. No, never mind. I correct my correction. I stand, then I sit, then I stand, correct it again. And finally, Hera, 31 minutes in, is doing what he should have been doing earlier, which is killing a lot of villagers. In 24 seconds, we're going to have Elite Eagle Warriors. Oh, decent volley there. Almost clipped those. With 8 Pierce Armor, by the way. 8 Pierce Armor, which means that these cav archers do 1 damage. Now, that last armor upgrade wasn't really necessary. Pardon me, it was necessary, my bad. Ignore what I just said. I correct my correction of my corrected correction. And here they come. Immediately, the monks go down because Eagles do come with a +10 attack bonus against monks right now. Okay, but high ground and quantity is going to our Briton, and look how hard it is to kill just a single Eagle Warrior. Holy shit, the entire Briton army was trying to go after that Eagle, and it did manage to take the mangonel down. What a boss unit. And he's got 14, 15 on the way, and now that food discount is not 15%. Now it is 25%, which means they cost a lot less food, and I think Hera is in a serious amount of trouble here. He is doing one. Okay. I guess Hera agrees with me. I guess Hera agrees that he's in a serious amount of trouble. I mean, I want to take a look at this Eagle Warrior. Keep an eye on the HP either on the bottom of your screen or if you're more visual like I am on this red bar here. And let's see how little damage these Cav Archers are doing to this Eagle. All of them fire. Well, not all of them, but a bunch of them fire. 8 Pierce Armor against your 8 attack. No bonuses against anything relevant. You are not a spearman. And yeah, I think Hera realizes he's about to get pressed off this position. His base used to be nice and tight and secure. It is not nice and tight and secure anymore. The wood has been jacked, the gold has been mined, the palisade walls have been dispersed, and town centers are up. Why did he take the foot off the gas with 275 wood? I don't understand. Liereyy, though, I mean, wow. Number 1, holding against Hera's push. Not an easy feat. And now the attack bonuses against cavalry are +4, and your unit is so cheap. Gold cost still does cost 50 gold. Look at the monk just healing the hell out of these units while they fight. Gold cost, you're still at 50 gold, but food costs, you're significantly cheaper, I should say. And there's no way that Hera is now going to be able to just massive, like, you know, snapping your fingers Thanos style. Oh, all of a sudden, I'm just going to transition into knights. How many stables does he have? He's only got 3 stables. Barrack count? Barracks? 5 barracks. So your units are cheaper. Your units are, do they have? Yeah, there we go. Fastest infantry unit in the game. 1.43. They are not that much slower than husbandry knights. 1.49. How ridiculous is that Eagle Warrior once it's fully upgraded? Absolutely ridiculous, and Hera agrees and taps out because there is not much that he can do. Taking 29 HP off of a unit with 60 HP means you don't need 2 volleys. You actually need 3 volleys to kill this Eagle, and in the meantime, it is closing in on you. It is killing you, and even though I would have loved to see some attack upgrades, Liereyy wisely choosing instead the armor upgrades. And holy moly, second TC comes in clutch. Liereyy ends the game with 8 more villagers than his opponent. Hera eventually would have caught up with those 2 town centers added later on in the game. But wow, unable to bust his way in. Should he have just run his cavalry archers into here when he had like 20 of them? Should he have just risked some town center fire? Or is that one of those things because the Britons don't get bloodlines, you're missing 20 HP, right? I mean, 29 units, 20 HP is 580 HP you're missing on your army. It would have basically gone from 1450 to over 2000 HP. And that is, again, why I went prepubescent when I saw Hera going Cav Archers. But you know what? He did it. He tried it. Maybe somebody in his chat, I've discovered that sometimes when players do wonky builds, it's because somebody in the chat asks for it or sends a donation and requests it, or for whatever reason. Maybe Hera just felt bored. Maybe Hera just thought he could get the villager kills. Maybe Hera thought he could use the mobility. Who knows? Cav Archer is a little bit faster, 1.54 to the 1.43. Knights, definitely not. You're not getting anything done with those knights. You are stuck in Castle Age. Your army has a unit that is absolutely going to, basically invincible to your unit. May as well be a Huskarl with rollerblades, how fast this unit moves. And there's nothing that Hera can do right now. Eagles to Cav Archers, Scorpions, and Mangonels to 10 Mangonels. That was an absolute epic Mangonel battle there, by the way. The siege battle that we saw in front of the base. But Liereyy just delay. Oh, you knocked down a barracks? Let me build another one. Oh, you knocked down another barracks? Oh, let me build another one. Oh, you knocked down a few houses? Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm the Incas. I don't give a shit. Knock down 5 houses. I'll just build 5 more and then get 50 population space out of them. And oh, by the way, I have a second TC up and running. So although Hera did manage to get a little bit of damage done towards the end when he ran in with his Cav Archers sniping villagers and Scorpions, using his Mangonels to try to kill the town center, that's probably what he should have been doing from the very beginning. Maybe have chosen a different attack path. Like I said, this looks like a very juicy attack path with a hill over here, a hill over here, only a few houses. I mean, if you could bust your way through a palisade in a house, your Cav Archers have free reign inside this base. And Liereyy's resources were absolutely, like we saw in the beginning, the 2 patches of gold, perfectly located. Hera, for his part, bit of a shittier location, but to be fair, our Inca wasn't really putting on that much pressure, unless you count those very romantic, forlorn spearmen that were just hanging out here earlier as pressure, and a little bit of pressure here on this gold. since then, Liereyy just turtled up Inca style and absolutely came out swinging after Hera came out swinging. PKPM 200 at the 22-second mark of the game. Hera, you know what? Hera's PKPM is never in the beginning of the game. Has anyone in the comments let me know? Have you ever seen a game where Hera's PKPM is at the 11-second minute mark of the game? In Mr. Yo, you see it all the time. Every player, you see it at least once out of, I want to say like 4 or 5 games. Once in one game in every 4 or 5, their PKPM's right at the beginning. Hera, I don't think I've ever seen his PKPM at the very beginning of the game. He just goes into like beast mode when he concentrates. You know, he takes the sip of water from his water bottle, puts it down, and then you just see the eyes just intensify, and he just gets in the zone. And that is 19 minutes into the game, halfway through. Let's take a look at the economies. Our Inca, despite having a villager lead for the majority of the game, does end the game just a little bit ahead of his opponent. More wood and a tiny bit more stone for our Briton, and more food and gold. Well, there's your eagle count for our... first of all, there's your Cav Archer count. There's your eagle count. I should say eagle and villager. And there's that one converted Cav Archer that we saw. 8 raisings on any other circumstance. 8 raisings in a 33-minute game would be pretty damn good. But in this case, just Liereyy holding on absolute crazy styles. Hera did manage to kill only 3 villagers. That's the problem. So even though the kill count altogether is pretty darn low, 34 to 26, ultimately, what an absolute epic example of one player trying their darndest to bust in, the other trying their darndest to defend, clogging up the works with siege and eagles, town centers, and a few villagers moving around here and there, perhaps as bait, but replacing the infrastructure, using the location of the resources more importantly. I mean, if Liereyy didn't have these rear resources, if his gold was maybe here or anywhere here in this area, then maybe it would have been bad news bears. And I wonder if the location of the stone had any role in Hera choosing this direct A to B line of attack from his base to this base. Because like I said, let me know in the comments if I'm just making too much of it, but I feel like this would have been a lot better of an area to attack into than the one that he did. But in any event, doesn't really matter. What an absolute boss hold out of our Inca, who gets his butt up to Imperial, gets the Eagle Warrior to exactly the specification that he needs it to, meaning elite and fully armored. Although remember, for the Incas, not exactly fully armored if he had the stone, and if he used that stone to build a castle, and if he used that castle to research fabric shields in Imperial Age. Well, first of all, he'd be out 600 food, 600 gold, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he'd be out that. But the Eagle would come with 10 pierce armor and 4 melee armor. Not that the melee, gonna do much anyway. But 10 pierce armor is literally Huskarls on rollerblades. That's what these units are. And with those Huskarls on rollerblades, it is Liereyy with the boss hold who manages to take down the Briton. But GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.